Hello. So, over the past few months, there's been a lot of talk and a lot of fear about AI and LLM traffic, especially originating from LLM platforms coming to websites. So, with Salt, I ran I'd like to say, relatively in depth study with a decent sample size, hundreds of submissions of Google Analytics 4 web instances via a Looker Studio, as well as working with our own data analytics team to put together essentially the best data to try and answer the question. Now, do users really show a higher intent when they click through from an LLM to a website? Because that has been a little bit of a party line. But okay, traffic from LLMs will still be less than it will be from Google for a while because 733 times bigger or whatever the number is that Google is than ChatGPT, etc. And even though ChatGPT is processing 1 billion a week, Google's processing a few trillion, and it just becomes number one at that point, being honest, as a very mid 2000s British reference there. So I've actually put this together and I wanted to actually measure sessions from Google Analytics, from traditional organic search and LLMs via referral in Analytics 4, and then the number of key events that are triggering in Google Analytics 4 as well. So what I've done is I've put that data together, and the data actually has been quite surprising, to be completely honest. So I'll put a link to the study in the description below, and I do please recommend you check it out. But essentially, the initial data has actually shown that even though it's not small, organic key event conversion rate, KECVR, is still higher at the moment than the key event conversion rate coming from LLM platforms. There are a few exceptions, which I've noted here. So, for example, in the health sector, jobs and career sector, and catalogue websites. So, web brochure websites where you can see products but can't actually purchase them. You have to inquire. No e-commerce functionality. There we go. LLM traffic and conversion rate is higher. Jobs and careers was a lot higher. It was 1 in 5 versus 16.5%. And catalogue websites was only small. As you can see, the numbers aren't that much bigger. If we actually have a look at it in terms of sectors, because I also broke down hundreds of websites into about 40 different sectors, key ones like general information websites, so blogs, for example, it's still not small. So 54% key comment conversion rate there to a 50%. So traffic from LLMs is still high intent, it is still qualified. It is just a misnomer and not accurate to say at the moment it is higher intent. Like B2B e-commerce, you're comparing 2.68% to 2.62, it's near enough the same. In SaaS, for example, it's 6.71 to 6.69. There's only a very small handful of sectors where it is a lot bigger. For example, human resources, it's 9% in organic versus 2% in LLMs. But in real estate and property, so rentals, commercial leases, etc., it's 6.25% in LLMs versus 2.71 there. So there's a great divergence across some of them. But others, I'd say you're near enough splitting hairs, like in travel. It's a few percentage points either way, 1 in 4 converting on a key event. So even though there is a discrepancy in the party line is okay, it's not higher intent, it is still quite high intent and it is still quite worthwhile going after, whether or not you want to be doing that as part of a standalone kind of campaign type thing, whether or not you want to be moving along, focusing in different areas. Even though, whether you want to call it geo, you want to call it AEO, anything like that, Odo, LLMs are still presenting a strong traffic opportunity at the moment, and the users are clearly clicking through, albeit in a much smaller number. To give you an idea of the smaller numbers, for the same data setting period, it was coming the first 3 months of this year, so January 1st to March 31st, it was 671,000 sessions from LLMs with 214,000 key events, compared to, for the same websites for the same period, 188.3 million organic sessions and 62.1 million key events. So yeah, quantity not the same, intent levels very similar. And in industries like SaaS and almost in travel, you can actually see, and even in B2B commerce, you can actually see they're relatively the same levels of intent and the same level of them. So if you're able to gain a first mover advantage and gain higher visibility in LLMs, and obviously you need to understand which LLM it is your users using and what your basically going to get the most audience in, there's a strong conversion opportunity there. So it isn't something to be slept on. I'll drop a link to the study in the description below. If you like this video, please do consider dropping a like. And if you want to stay up to date with everything else on this channel, please do hit the subscribe button. I really do appreciate both of those. And if you have any questions or you have any thoughts on the study, please do drop them in the comments below or reach out to me on LinkedIn or Twitter. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time.